Hi everyone, Kathy Maxon, Craft Creations by Kathy. Today we're just going to make a general wreath. We're going to do it similar to a pancake, but we're going to change it up a little. I have this sign in my stash. I figured this would be something good for a father, maybe his house, put on his front door. So it was maybe going to be a little more masculine. But it's still going to have some ruffles and stuff. So, and I haven't even decided because I think this is going to take up the whole frame here. So I don't know. I don't think we need to put a bow on it. But we will do some ribbon tails because we're going to put that in. I have some mesh here as well. We're going to be using this mesh. And we're going to use some greenery. I try to use some greenery in it as well. So I got this sign. Like I said, it's been in my stash. 14-inch wreath form from the Dollar Tree. I have 4 different kinds of ribbon. We got 2 inch, 2.5 inch, and then some 1.5 inch ribbon. So I'm going to pair these two together, and we're going to pair these two together. So again, 14-inch wreath form. I think right now we're just going to do 6. So we're going to do it at each of the crossbars, and we're going to do it right on the inside, row 1. Because what's going to happen, you see how much this sign eats up the whole wreath frame. This way, then the mesh will stick out past that. So we'll be able to see the mesh in the ribbon. So let's get some mesh cut. So I will be cutting at 20 inches. And I'm just going to like straighten it out because it twists and turns. And I'm just going to cut at the place that's closest to the 20. That's at like a junction. If that makes sense, at the square. So I already have 2 kind of made. I don't want to pull it tight and make it all wonky. So the mesh came from Hobby Lobby. So if we're only going to do 6, you can make a whole nother wreath. We're going to be using pipe cleaners. I'm also going to be using zip ties because I want to zip tie my greenery in. So let's see how this is gonna work. Maybe zip tying before I do anything. So all I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna curl it a teeny tiny bit. So because we're not gonna gather up the center, we're going to only gather up. I just kind of want it so it tucks under. So your piece is 10 inches wide. I'm going to gather around the 3 or 4 inch mark. So similar to the gathering that you would normally do on the pancake, we're just not in the center. We're off kilter, if that makes sense. So we're going to have a big end, and we have a little end. So we're going to be pinching 3 to 4 inches, I believe is kind of what it comes out to. And let's cut a piece of my fern here. I'm going to cut a piece of my fern, but I don't think I'm going to need these bottom pieces because I just want more of a stem at the bottom. So then this will stick out up there. See how that is? And our stem will be under here. So let's get our frame. You can save these pieces. We can glue them in. I just want to see what it's going to be like if I zip tie it. Because I want my stem to stay in. I'll pull it as tight as I can, and then we'll have that there. So then we can come back so this kind of help hold it in. So let's cut. We're going to cut our ribbon. We're going to cut at 12 inches because I kind of want to see that greenery a little bit and the mesh. 12 inches, and we're pairing it with this plaid. 12 inches. And I dovetailed the, is this 2 inch? 2.5 inch. I didn't do a deep dovetail. I kind of just did a little shorter of a dovetail. So remember, you fold it in half, cut from the fold to the open end up at an angle, and that gets you your dovetail. And this is 1.5 inch. So what I did, I took my 1.5 inch because I want my 1.5 inch to be on the outside of my 2.5 inch. So you're going to find the center. We're going to even up the ends as best you can over here. And we're going to pinch this little tail, and I'm just going to clip it. Okay, I'm going to do the same with the 2.5. Make your ends flip under, make it look pretty. But what I'm going to come back and do, I'm going to slide the 2.5 inside. You saw that? I'm just going to slide the 2.5 inside the 1.5. But I'm going to put my 2.5 inch up over. So it's going to look like that. And actually, if I had it all ready, I probably could have zip tied this in as well. Because you probably don't need a full pipe cleaner for this if you do it this way. So we're going to see the greenery peeking out a little bit. And our tails. So my other ones I have ready here, we can try and zip tie the whole batch in. Because then now you're just going to have to tuck that under. Like I said, I think our sign is going to hide it anyways, so it's not going to matter. And we can always come back in and glue more greenery in if we want. Because you see what's going to happen when our sign comes in. It's going to hide our connections. It should. I think it's going to hide it on all of our spots, but it's still going to stick out a little. So you're still going to see the fancy stuff behind the wreath. And what I want to do, I want to do the every other one. We'll do this version and every other one, and then we'll come back, use different greenery and different ribbon, and then these ones can kind of sit on top. And I'm thinking this mesh is fairly thick. I mean, you can see through it, but I think if I do these, we'll come back and do this one. It's going to kind of fan over top of it. Does that make sense? I kind of like the idea. We'll have to try to zip tie that. So if you want, we can get our greenery ready. So I'll get my piece of greenery ready. Let's get my ribbon cut. We'll get all that done. So then when we're ready, we'll try zip tying everything together and see if that works better. Plaid. Again, we're cutting these at 12. Trying to see the wrong side, right side of the ribbon. Find your center. Scrunch up the middle. Pinch it. Should make sure, because the zigzags don't matter. Pinch up the middle. Make sure it's folded in half. Get yourself a good pinch. Fold them up, make them pretty. Open this back up. Slide this one right in there. Pinch this back up. And we have that with our greenery. Just rolling the ends in just a little bit. And then I'm going to go 3 inches up and scrunch at 3 inches. Like I said, by the time you put it in the wreath form, it'll probably be 3 or 4 inches, but we're not in half. That normal pancake wreath, we would do it in half, but this one we are not. So we're going to do every other one. Get our zip tie. And we got that, maybe. We got that. Greenery is going to go. You can kind of lay your greenery in one of the grooves in one of your folds. Okay, take our zip tie. I just did black just to tighten it all up. Make sure it's good and tight. I pulled it tight, then it cut itself. And then you can fluff your tails. You see when we get the sign in there, It's just going to cover that right up. We're not going to see our connections. One more, the same version. Oh, I don't need one more because I have one more made. So we're going to do, looks like bark. I'm just going to say bark, wood, with some greenery. And then we are going to use this green with some slashes in it. Same thing, dovetail. I'm going to not put as deep of a cut on this big stuff. This stuff is super thick. On my ribbon, AC Moore, so that tells you that place has been closed for years. These are all in my stash. I don't know where I got this from. The wood. DeRice, so that was probably Packatans. And this one I ordered because I said it included shipping, so. Okay, now this one I'm going to put, I got some pine. So I got some pine. We're gonna cut off a piece of the pine. I actually had to bend it the last one. Maybe. There we go. So I just kind of want it to look woodsy. Okay, so we got the greenery. We'll get our ribbon ready here. Scrunch the middle, V fold, give it a good pinch there. Trying to see, I want them to look the same in the wreath, so I was trying to see, I have one made which way I folded. So remember, we're going to put the little around the big. Just slide that right in there. I wanted the big stuff over top of the little stuff. Pinch it and hold it. We have our greenery. Let's get a piece of mesh. Roll it up just a little, basically just on one end. Same with this side, just a little. Oops, gonna flip it over. Guess I should have done that on that end. So then we're gonna fold it up 3 inches. Scrunch up at the 3-inch mark. Like I said, by the time you put it in your wreath form, it's probably going to be closer to the 4-inch. But we're scrunching at the 3. We're going to get our greenery. We're going to slide that in one of our folds. Get our ribbons. Get those all there. Probably should have a bigger zip tie because this one's gonna be thick. Okay, my ribbon's coming out. So let me get this slid in here. No, actually I'm going to cut it. Sorry, zip tie. Say bye, bye, bye. And I want that one to go under that one. There's my scrunching came out. Okay, let's try this again. I should go get a thicker zip tie, so I think this one's gonna need it. I'm going to put this in my Bodabra. I'm losing it already. I'm going to be right back. And say, hopefully I hit the right button. Okay, I think I got it all resituated. Got a bigger zip tie. This one just doesn't want to. Let's try to fluff these how we want them. But I'm seeing we're going to have some space. So maybe what I think I want to do may not work. Let's see. Oh, yeah, it probably still will cover. Just have to make sure we get it in there correctly. You could do the ribbon tails a little longer. Like these ones seem like they stick out farther than these ones. So instead of 12 inches, you could do 13. Like I said, I just kind of wanted a little something, some greenery in there. Okay. It's looking good. You know, if we have to, we can kind of flip these things up, the bottom parts. That can kind of help maybe hide as well. One more bundle. so like I said, we can kind of flip the bottoms up a little. So we'll still kind of hide. Okay, so that's what we have. And you can see it. Okay, let's get our sign prepped. I'll take some pipe cleaners, and since this is a nice thick wood sign, plus it has an extra piece here, so that's where I'm going to staple. We haven't used a stapler before. And it, like I said, it's not going to come through because it's so thick. But you will have to watch your signs. So I'm just going to kind of even it out. So that's where I want it. There. Actually, I think it's just going to end up going around some of the sections that I already have. This, I should tape this. Do I have tape? I want to tape that. Maybe I can do that from the back. But I just want to tape, I'm going to leave the hanger on it. Just then that way if somebody wants to take the sign and just use the sign, they can. This will be a nice flat wreath. So it can go between a storm door. I just thought this would be cute like at a cabin or something like that. And I think that is where we want it. Let's flip it over and see where we're at. So I got this one here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to make sure it's above. So then that way it won't slouch. So I want to be like over the second bar and over the first bar. Then that way it won't slouch. Up, and it looks like my wreath form broke right there. That's not good. I had to transfer this all over to, that's the one that's the very first one I put on. I was trying to tighten it so tight. Where's the other one right here? I just have to transfer this over to a good wreath form. I actually don't even know if I have any green ones. This is the wreath. Spread out your ribbon. Show your greenery. Like like I said, we could go back in and glue other greenery in if we want. You know, on top of the ribbon. I have something that has like some pine cones on it. You know, we actually even have some of these. You know, you could just come in here and just stick a little bit more on the top part, but I just kind of thought this would be a little more masculine, outdoorsy. That's what I was going for on this one. So I hope you all enjoyed the video. Let me try to lower the table. Oh, I don't think I have it plugged in. But this is what we have. Welcome, our den is your den. It's a little outdoor thin wreath. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. Pancake style, similar, but just a couple tweaks. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching.